Now, I did a countdown a long time ago called the Top 11 Naughtiest Animaniac Moments, and to this day it continues to be the most viewed Nostalgia Critic video. And looking over these jokes again, I gotta say, how did you get away with half of these risque jokes? I mean, they're just unbelievable.
You know, I don't know. I don't know how we got away with them.
I don't know.
I have no idea how.
A lot of it is benign neglect.
I did see that segment of the Nostalgia Critic, and I love it.
It was all double entendre, so it was more naughty than anything, I think. You know, we were trying not to be really mean, but we were being sort of naughty.
You know, you couldn't do it today, but we did it then.
Our gatekeeper was pretty much as twisted as we were, so I think that's the problem.
You should be ashamed of yourself for even thinking it.
Now, something I hear writers do a lot, especially on kids shows to get around the censors, is that they'll have a joke that's a little risque and they think the censors are going to pull off, so they put in an even bigger joke, something really shocking and really risque to distract from the smaller risque joke. Did you guys ever do anything like that?
That's exactly right, and so you fight like mad for this really outrageous thing that you know should never be in there. You fight for that, so that when the other thing, they're so exhausted, they say, okay, you can have the other thing.
You guys pretty much satirized, well, everything. You did movies, you did shows, you did music videos, people. Did anyone ever get upset at the jokes you made?
Tim Robbins.
Really?
We had won the Emmy, the daytime Emmy, and we were coming out, and Tim Robbins was escorting Mr. Rogers onto the stage, and as he passed us, we were walking. He said, "I love you. I love Animaniacs, but please don't ever put me in your cartoon. Don't make fun of me." And I said, "I'm sorry. I think we've already done it."
I think Country Joe of Country Joe and the Fish called. We did a Woodstock Slappy. He was upset about something we had parodied in there.
And it's 8:10, I'm just killing time. My contract says to sing a song. Yeah, I made a rhyme.
That doesn't sound like a parody. That sounds like my song.
I think that Steven showed Martin Scorsese the Good Feathers, and he really thought it was funny.
We got a little close to Richard Lewis's material in Noah's Ark cartoon. So I think Richard Lewis's manager said, you know, could you try not to steal all of his material next time? And we said, okay.
Look, I don't know who you think I am, and I wish I cared, but I don't. Get on the boat.
It was an homage, Richard.
No, nobody really, we never heard from anybody. But maybe because of this, they will, and they're going to come after us. So thanks a lot.
Yes, well, I live to destroy careers.
Shoot me.
With that said, Sherry, as people may or may not know, you were the live-action reference for Ariel from The Little Mermaid and Belle from Beauty and the Beast. And something I've noticed is that there's a lot of Disney-related jokes in Animaniacs, particularly in the Slappy the Squirrel cartoons.
That junk's rotting out your brain. No wonder you like that bonkers show.
I even recall one where you blow up, run over, and smash Pluto the dog. Bad memories or just an easy target?
Certainly not bad memories. No. That was a lot of fun doing the Mermaid and Belle. No, probably an easy target. I mean, Slappy, though, not made fun of, but she knew everybody in show business, so everybody was fair game. You know, Hanna-Barbera characters got slapped around a lot by her, too.
She used to date George Jetson.
Of course, Steven Spielberg produced both this show and Tiny Toons, which were both gigantic hits. How involved was he in the process? Because from the look of things, it looks like he was a pretty good producer.
Great. I mean, he was involved in the fact that, you know, he was making at the time, I think, Jurassic Park and Schindler's List and whatever, and then he'd be faxing us notes on these little animated scripts we'd write. But mostly he was interested in it being funny and having a different look and a feel and everything else like that.
He read every script. What I remember about him was that you would give him deliver a half-hour script maybe at like 2 o'clock, And by 5 o'clock, he would be calling with notes. He was very fast. The turnaround with him was very fast. Now, sometimes, of course, he'd be busy, really busy making a movie or something.
I have a photo of him on the set at Schindler's List looking at like a Pinky and the Brain storyboard. So
I was there maybe 2 months or something, and I had written a little bit, and I got a memo from Steven, and I think it said, "I really liked what you wrote." I think tears began to well in my eyes, and I immediately called my wife at work, and I read her the memo, and look what it said. And then I think I ran throughout the studio. I got a flashlight, and I let everyone read the memo. There was an episode in Freakazoid. It's Freakazoid, and then all of a sudden Wacko comes in, and then Pink and the Brain come in. And there's this whole exchange about what show Steven likes best. Well, Steven likes us best because we got a memo, and that's the memo I was talking about.
If I'm not mistaken, Freakazoid is Steven's favorite show. We got a memo.
And I have the memo still. It's in a safe. I don't let anyone look at it, but it was very, very nice.
I can't complain. I'm one of the few people in the world that actually framed a Twitter from Roger Ebert. So, yeah, I'd be lying if I said I didn't get excited about stupid stuff like that, too.
the beautiful thing was when people did come after us, or censors, or he basically would step in and ask others to back off. These guys are doing a good job. They're making the show I want. So it was fabulous.
People ask me, like they ask everyone when they're kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? And so I said I wanted to be Steven Spielberg when I grew up. My parents did a really amazing thing, and they got me a chance to meet him after this big rap party. He just asked me what were my favorite dinosaurs and what were my favorite movies, and I remember just telling him these are the best dinosaurs there are, and these are the best movies, and you should make movies with these dinosaurs, and God, it's so embarrassing. But it was really amazing that he listened to me. I could see that the words I was telling him really sunk in.
Nate, you were a little kid, obviously, when you did the voice of Skippy Squirrel. Did people recognize you? And if they did you keep it low-key, or did you try to soak up the attention?
At first, no one really did recognize me. That's the great part of being in an animated series. You can do all this hard work. You have this other secret identity. But I got interviewed for Sports Illustrated for Kids. They're just going to do a short interview and take a few photos, and it turned into this 3 or 4 page spread about me as a voice actor. And after that, the secret was out, and it was hard to I wasn't a celebrity though. It was very low key, but it was the worst kind of celebrity for me at that age. I was turning 13. I was trying to appear very masculine and suave to the ladies, but they all thought of me as this cuddly, wuddly, fuzzy little squirrel. And that did not help me with the ladies for quite a while. Yeah.
It's hard being a squirrel. Now, when I watch these cartoons, I really get a feeling of the original Looney Tunes, even more than Tiny Toons, which was literally mimicking the original Looney Tunes. But something about Animaniacs just seemed to have the same creative energy, the same need to hit both the adult audience as well as the children audience. Did they play a big part when writing this? And if not, who did?
We weren't consciously thinking about the old Looney Tunes, saying let's do this thing like Bugs did, but it certainly had to be in our consciousness.
Template I think we used originally were the Marx Brothers. That sort of chaos that they orchestrated in their films. Most of the artists and certainly the writers were very much influenced by the Looney Tunes cartoons.
I think if you take Marx Brothers and Looney Tunes and smash them together, I think you get Animaniacs.
They were so masterful that it was something to aspire to. I don't think they've been surpassed, certainly. To me, I'm still in awe whenever I see the old Warner Brothers cartoons,
For me, Daffy Duck is pretty much the most perfect cartoon character of all time. That was a big influence.
I would know nothing about him being an influence.
What sort of maybe I learned from Looney Tunes was it's all about character. And if you have a great character, you can write 1 billion episodes. And I think that's what Looney Tunes was all about, rather than sort of necessarily this happens, then this happens, then this happens. The Looney Tunes were yeah, Daffy's on a cruise ship. What can happen?
All the cultural major events of our lives, I think everything we had gone through up to the point where we're working on Animaniacs, it was fair game as far as we were concerned.
Any kind of inspired silliness, anything that was just fun for fun's sake would factor in.
You know, Ernie Kovacs, that sort of weird stuff.
I was a big fan of Monty Python and Jonathan Winters.
There were a few Abbott and Costello movies that I virtually had memorized.
Go ahead and tell me. Who? The guy on first. Who? The first base. Who is on first?
Tell me the name of the band on stage. Who? The name of the band. Who? The band on stage. Who?
One of my favorite memories working with Sherry Stoner was doing the Woodstock episode with the what's the name of the band on stage bit. We spent a lot of time together in the booth so we could get the timing just right.
Who? The name of the group. Who? The group on stage. Who? The band. No, the band is performing later.
And then the Jerry Lewis thing for me was just, I was raised in Vegas. I was eight years old, and I would see Jerry Lewis's name on the marquee, and I just thought he was the funniest guy in the world.
Paul, you have a character simply called Mr. Director, who you also do the voice for, and he is obviously a big influence of Jerry Lewis.
You kids are going to be in my movie.
Movie?
Who are you just looking at?
The people watching on TV.
Peoples? What peoples? Hello, nice people in the TV!
I'm wondering, has he ever seen any of those cartoons?
You know what? I have no idea. Although, when I was at Disney and I was doing a show for them a while back, I tried to get Jerry Lewis to actually do a bid on it, and he said no, and I don't know whether it's because they said, oh, Paul Rugg's the guy that used to do you. I'm not quite sure.
I actually remember there was a tribute on Comedy Central for Jerry Lewis, and one of the clips they showed was Mr. Director acting as Indiana Jones, so chances are he did see one of those cartoons at some point.
Okay, good. See?
And most likely knew who you were and totally snubbed you.
Well, there you go.